What's good, people? Tunde again from Ceasar Graphics. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and remember to ring the bell so you will be notified when I post my tutorials. Today, I want to welcome you to my how to use background series. And without any further ado, let's jump into today's tutorial. This was one of the designs sent to me by one of my group members during our last week graphic design review. I really want to appreciate you guys for posting your designs for me to review. So let's go straight to my slide and I'll share with you why I think this design is not successful. One of the reasons why the composition is dull is because the title is not abstract enough to catch attention. The hierarchy is not balanced. And I also realized that the image of the man with the child is good, but it would have been nice if we have the picture of Mr. Ike himself with the kid. I say again here that the color usage is poor. All right, now colors like this are not really nice for designs related to kids. It's always good to use bright colors when working on designs like this. And one other thing I would like to say again is the contents are too close to the edge of the frames and the article needs more leading. So there will be more space in between the rows. Our job as designers is to share clear communications. This is achieved with typography, images, and shapes. The combination of these elements can be aesthetically pleasing or repulsive. So I'm going to be working on this project together with you guys, and the application we are going to be using to achieve this is going to be Adobe Illustrator. So the color I'm going to be using to achieve this project is going to be the analog color harmony. Now, the reason why I'm using this is because these three colors are, bright colors that when you combine them together, they make the design rich and friendly. And since we're trying to talk about Mr. Hike teaching people's kids how to read and write, we should be able to do something friendly. So let's go straight to Illustrator and start work on this project. So here we are now on Illustrator. So I'm going to click on File and I'll select New so as to create a new project. So because I want to post this on Instagram, I'm going to use the Instagram portrait frame size, which is 720 by 900. Okay, so 900, and I'll call this Mr. Ike. Okay, and I'm going to click on the create button. All right, so I'm going to start with drawing of my illustration because since this is going to be something that Mr. Ike may have to go to people's house to train the kids, so we have to do an illustration, all right, that will show the house and then the picture of Mr. Ike. So I'm going to draw with my rectangle tool here now. All right, so I'm going to just draw myself. I'm going to use direct selection tool to select this and push this. So the next thing I'm going to do is to use the direct selection tool. All right, and I'll select this side of the rectangle shape. I hold on shift and I'm going to use the arrow key, the left arrow key on my keyboard to push this in 2 times. And I'm going to do the same thing here, hold down shift and use the right arrow key to push this in 2 times. And I'm going to click on the shape tool and select the star tool right here because I need to draw a triangle shape. So I'm going to drag this like so and use the up and down arrow key to reduce the angle of the star to have this triangle shape. So I'm going to just scale this bit like so, position it here. So I'll bring out the ruler just this show ruler, and I'm just going to drag from bottom down to about this point. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bring in the title of the artwork. So just going to select the type tool, and I'm just going to click and paste like so. I need to change the look of my workspace. So I'm going to go to Windows and I'll go to Workspace and I'll select Essential Classic. All right, I'm using Adobe Illustrator 2019. So the tool should be right here, and the name of the tool is Touch Type. So I'm going to click on this because I need to change the look of my title. I want it to look more fun. So I'm going to start with the H. So I'll click on the H and I'll scale this down. I'll make this bigger, like so. All right, so this is good. So I'm just going to scale this down like so. And it's time for me to weld this. So I'm going to move this to the side and I'm going to weld this together. So I'm going to click, select everything like here, like so, and I'm going to select the weld um, option here. So I'm going to change the color of this to the shade of green, and I'm going to move the outline. You know what? They just make it blue. All right, let's make this one the blue color. Okay, and this should be here. And I'm going to position this right about here, like so. Okay, and I'm going to change the color of this to white. And this is good. You know what? Let's just move this here, and I'll change the color so as to not to lose it. And I'll position this here. I'll make it green. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add outline to this. So I'm going to pick this and I'm going to add outline to this. So we're beginning to see all this sharp effect on our outline. So we need to remove that. So to take that out, I'm going to click on this stroke option here and click on this option right here. So the next thing I want to do now is to convert this to a fill. So I'm going to click on objects and I'll select the expand option here, and I'll have this asking me, am I sure I really want to do that? I'll say yes, and I want it to apply to both the fill and the object. So I'm going to select OK. Now I'll go again and I'll do it again. All right, I'll say okay one more time, and this time I'm going to weld it together, and now you see we have it as a fill layer. And I'm seeing some shape here that I don't want, so I'm going to double click it to go inside that uh, object, and I'll click on those shape and I'll delete them like so. Okay, so I'll double click here to go out of the mask of the shape, and I'll position this right here like so, and I'll change the color to white. I'm thinking I should just draw a shape right here. Okay, and just fill it with the shade of green. Yeah, this is good. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna scale it down to one here. So I'm holding on Alt as I drag to make um, duplicate of the shape. So I have it like so. Um, I'm gonna click here and hold on Control Shift square bracket. All right, so I think I like it this way. So what I'm going to do is now is I'm going to create a new layer. I'll put all the team in a new layer. So I'm going to hold on Shift and deselect the house and move this to this layer. So now as you can see, we have it on that new layer like so. And I'm going to lock the two layers, and I'll create a new layer. And this time I'm going to draw a circle behind the team like so. And I'll change the color to this shade of green like so, just like so. All right, so this is good, and I'm going to scale it big a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm beginning to lose the look of the house, so I'm going to hide all these layers. Click here, and I'll hold on Shift and use my left arrow key to push this out like so, and I'll click here, Shift, push it out. I'll do the same thing here and shift select this and push it out once. So I'm going to make everything visible. Now you see we now have the shape of the house back on the scene. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool again, and this time I'm just going to draw something like a door. All right, so I'm going to zoom out, and then we have this. Now, so the next thing I'm going to do is to draw the smoke coming out from the house. So I'm going to select everything, show it here. and I'm going to draw a circle. So we're going to be using circle to achieve that. So I'm going to position this here just like so. I'm going to change the color to blue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'm going to select everything and I'll scale it down. So I'm drawing my landscape now. So I'm going to just create a new layer. I'm going to lock every other layer and I'm going to position this here. Now you see we're about to lose our doorknob. So I'm going to position this back here like so. And I'm going to lock all the layers. Click here. So I'm going to position this here like so. All right. Draw the grass. So I'm going to come here, click on this icon here and select OK. So I'm going to change this to pen pressure and I'm going to change this to 3 and 3. So I'm using a graphic tablet. So I'm going to zoom in and I'll select the brush. I'm going to start drawing my grass. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a copy of the smoke. It's going to serve as the tree. I'm going to unlock this. So I'm going to select one of the smoke, make a copy of it, rotate it, and change the color to green. And I'm going to zoom in, and this should be here. Okay, this is good. You know what? Let's just change the color. So I'm going to add white to this. Okay, now we've lost the circle, so I'm going to hold on Control and click, and I'll use the shortcut to make it be above the layer of the leaf. So I'm going to hold on Control Shift and square bracket, Control 0, and I'm going to make a copy of this, drag, hold on Alt and drop here like so. So this is good. All right. So I think we're making progress now, right? So I'm going to move everything down just a little bit. Oops. So I need to uncheck all these layers. So I'm going to select everything. Move them down just a little bit. And for this, I just need to move it down like so. Okay. Now I'm going to use the same shape again. So I'm going to make it serve as our cloud this time. So I'm going to make a new layer and this should be on that layer. And I'm going to move this up above every other layer like so. I'm going to lock all the layers so I won't be able to move them. So I'm just going to put this big and I'm going to switch. So the next thing I'm going to do again now is to draw our sun. So I'm just going to move this somewhere around here like so. So I'm going to create a new layer for that. All right, so I'm going to move this here, lock this layer, and I'm going to change the color to this. Now remove the outline. Okay, so I'm going to scale this down. I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to make a copy of the circle, and I'm going to drag this down just like so, and this should be here. I'll change the color to white, and I'll hold on shift, click again, and make it be at the center of the circle. And I'm going to come here, go to the start tool again. I'm going to draw a triangle like so. Hold on shift and click again, and I'm going to click again without holding on shift, and I'm going to click here to make it be at the center of the circle. I'm going to first of all click on the triangle that I drew, and I'm going to go to the rotate tool here, hold on alt and click to move the anchor point of the rotate tool to that angle, and I'm going to click on the preview box here. Let's make it 60. Okay, so I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'll hit the Ctrl D on my keyboard to repeat the last move, and I'm going to click on the circle and delete it, and I'm going to select everything and group them together. Now this should be here like so, and I'm going to position this here like so. So now we have this. So it's time for us to bring in the name of Mr. Mike. I'm going to create a new layer now. All right, and I'll lock this layer, and I'll draw a shape like so here. Uh, Okay, so this is good. So the next thing I'm going to do is to bring in the picture of Mr. Ike. Now, this is not the real Mr. Ike, okay? This is a picture I got from the internet. So I just wanted to serve as Mr. Ike. Okay, so I'm going to move this down. I would have loved to make the marker visible, but I don't like the fact that this part of the body is going to be visible when I position it behind the layer of the house. I'm going to move Mr. Ike somewhere here like so, and I'm going to make a layer, and this layer is going to be behind the house because that's where we're going to position Mr. Ike. So I'm going to move this and drag down to make Mr. Ike be behind the layer, and I'm going to rotate this just like so, unlock all the layers, and I'm going to select everything just like so. Select this. So I'm holding down shifts. I'll select this. Okay, and I'll make everything bigger with shift and alt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my grid. Like I said when I was talking about the original design, it's always good not to make your content too close to the frame of your project. I'm going to create a new layer now, and I'm going to draw a rectangle shape with shift hold down like so, and already have my ruler visible. But if you don't have your ruler visible, simply use the shortcut, which is Control R for Windows users and Command R for Mac users. Or you can always go to View and select rulers here, and click here and make the ruler visible. So I'm going to drag this and drop here like so, and this should come down here. So this is where I'm going to put my contents. So I'm going to group it, and I'll go to alignment again. So it's going to be to the output, and I'm going to click here to align everything. Go to view, and I'll select guides and then say hide guides. So we have all these elements out of the frame of our project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer now, and I'll draw a rectangle shape from top to bottom like so. I'm going to select all the layers, and I'm going to hit the Ctrl 7 on my keyboard. That's for Windows users, and for Mac users is Command 7. So I'm going to log this layer. So I'm going to click here, and I'll call this 1, 2, 3. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, guys. If you have not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and remember to ring that bell so you will be notified when I post my tutorials. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Peace.